All right. What's happening, family? How y'all doing? This is a Patreon exclusive. This is a Patreon exclusive. I want to do something special for my patrons, to go live for my patrons, to have a chance for my patrons to interact. But mainly, this will be me giving you guys some background information about myself, Joseph Ward, on the Shoulders of Giants, and why I do what I do. And any questions that you may have had, you get a chance to ask me those questions. So put your questions in the chat, and then we can go back and forth. I do want to give everybody time to get in here. Shout out to everybody who's tuning in. Like I said, this is a Patreon exclusive. This is for my Patreon family. I want to show my Patreon family some love. You all have a special place in my heart. So I'm going to make sure all my patrons start getting exclusive content, patron-only content. Because, you took the extra step to show me some support, to show me some love. So I want to take the extra step to show you back the love, because that's what we do over here at On the Shoulders of Giants. We are a family. We are a family. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Do want to give some time for more people to come in, but once again, welcome to On the Shoulders of Giants. It's been amazing over the years what has happened. So I definitely will give you a recap of my 2022 from this point last year to this point this year. A lot of the things that happened, I was hoping that they happened, but when they happened, I'm not gonna lie, I was surprised and I was excited. So yes, that's what's up. So I do want to go ahead and get into it, though. I want more people to come in, but I want to go ahead and get to it. But like I said, this is Patreon exclusive content. You get access to myself, Joseph Ward, and we get to have a conversation. You get to ask questions about myself, my background on the Shoulders of Giants, the who, what, where, when, why, and how. I'm very good at talking to myself and talking about myself. So let's go ahead and get into it. So this journey for On the Shoulders of Giants, it started, let's say, around late 2012, early 2013, or I would say, because I don't remember the exact date and exact time, but let's say between 2012 and 2014. That's when On the Shoulders of Giants was created, between 2012 and 2014. Before I created On the Shoulders of Giants, I knew about YouTube. I knew about a lot of these social media platforms, but I was very anti-social media at the time. Some social media sites, I understood the necessity for social media. I was on MySpace a bit when it first came out. And remember, I was on MySpace when I was in college. All right. So that just lets you know how old I am. I didn't start using social media until I was a grown man. I was in my late 20s when I started using social media, right? So I come from a time, well, we had to interact with each other. And I still operate like that because most of my life, I've always had to interact with people. But in the beginning, social media was something that I was trying to discover how to use and how to leverage to be able to get the information out that I wanted to get out. Because before the spark, and I'll call it the spark that caused On the Shoulders of Giants to happen, before that spark happened, I was really trying to figure out what I want to do with myself. I was trying to figure out which direction I wanted to go in life and what my next move was going to be. What could be a good move for me to take? Where should I go? Where should I be? What should I do? I was just graduating college around 2008, 2009. Just coming out of college. Um, yeah, I spent more time in college than I should have. So don't judge me in my life. Yeah, I spent more time. I was one of them super scenes, but I wasn't messing with nobody. I went to class and went home. But one of the issues for me in school was by the time I got to college, I was disenchanted about school. I didn't like school anymore. I really didn't want to be there, but going to school was a better idea than doing nothing or trying to hit the block or just trying to figure it out. So I said, well, let me go to school and learn something. Also, another reason why I went to school, because at the time coming out of high school, I wanted to play ball. So I'm giving y'all a full story. I wanted to play football. I know y'all probably look at me, look at them little shoulders. You ain't see me on that field. Don't let the little shoulders fool you. Don't let the size fool you, right? But coming out of college, I was starting to work at the Leon County Health Department here in Tallahassee, Florida. This is when I was beginning my time in HIV/AIDS and sexual violence prevention. I had no idea about none of these worlds. Like this is where I was. This is where my mind was, and this is just how I was living life. And I realized how much I had no idea existed, not just in the world, but in my own city. I had no idea of how much existed as far as opportunity, resources, and chance. I just always thought that my city was just this little country town where you just fumble along and get a state job and just try to be happy with a state job and make kids and be happy with your state job, right? But my mind was also closed to the possibilities of what I could do myself outside of athletic ability. And that was one of the sad things about all of this, about growing up, is I really, at one point in life, I really believed that my greatest ability was my athletic ability. Because I'm cold out there. I'm cold out there on that field now. I'm cold on that field now. I ain't been on that field in a minute. But when I was on that field, I'm to my ice cold on that field now. But I didn't understand that my brain and the skill sets that I developed outside of athletics could take me further than athletics could ever think about taking me. I never saw the world like that. So coming out of college, I was just like, okay, I got a degree. What next? And see, leading up to this point, and see, I got to tell y'all this part. Right? So leading up to this point, leading up to the point to where I'm coming out of college and starting to work for the health department, I was throwing newspapers for the Tallahassee Democrat, our local newspaper. I was throwing newspapers. That was my primary job at the time. The primary job was a newspaper carrier. And then my secondary or my part-time job was the stage hand working at the local civic center here for the Donald L. Tucker Civic Center. So setting up and breaking down the floor and the stage for events and things. So that's one of the main things that I was doing for the Civic Center. So between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m., I'm throwing newspapers, right? And then, because the goal was to get home by 5, to be in my house, in my room at 5 a.m. so I can watch King of the Hill and then go back to sleep after that. And then the days I had to work at the Civic Center, I would go to work. I would do my newspaper routine, be back in the house before 5, and then say have to be up again maybe around 10, or have to be up around 9 so I can be, or 8:39 so I could be at the Civic Center around 10 or before 10 so we can go ahead and do our work for that day. So the newspaper job paid $600 a month, and I made, the newspaper job paid $600 a month, and my my rent was $333 because I was living with two homies and we're splitting that $999 three ways. So $333 was my responsibility, and I made $600 a month from throwing newspapers. And I was lucky if I made $150 from my job at the Civic Center, putting down the floors. And what's crazy too is, leading to the graduation, we get called in one day for the Civic Center because we need to set up for an event, and not necessarily giving us the information on what this event is going to be. But come to find out, as I'm working for the Civic Center, I'm setting up the stage that I'm about to walk across in the next couple of days to graduate from college. And I was like, man, that's so cool. Because my attitude about setting up the stage was different from everybody else's attitude that was on the team. Because once I figured out what this stage was in this event, it made me feel good. It was kind of bittersweet, like, dang, man, I got this job. But it made me feel good that I'm accomplishing something, even though right now it feel like it ain't talking about nothing right now. It feel like it ain't talking about nothing right now. But I'm actually going to get a big accomplishment out of all of this because I'm getting a chance to walk across the stage and complete, my academic journey. Because I'm not going back to school unless something miraculous happens. I'm not going back to school. That's why. So all these books behind me, I read books. All right. So, bam, set up the stage for the graduation. We go home and everything. 2 days later, bam, come back to the Civic Center, graduate, walk across the stage. Psh, I graduated college. Now, what's crazy about that is I never imagined myself graduating from college. One, because I didn't want to be there. Two, most of my life, I've always saw myself as an athlete, a football player in the NFL, to be exact. And then when I was in college, I was always trying to do something. Like, we started, I think shout out to the homies Doc and Caleb, I think we started maybe 4 or 5 different businesses in college. We started a record label, started a lawn care company. It was 3 other businesses that we started. I can't remember, but I know off the top of my head, I know we started a record. We had a record label. We're legal owners. We were legal owners of a record label, Classic Status Records. Yeah. And we had a lawn care business. We did 3 other things. We started about 3 to 5 businesses in college. They all failed, but now looking back, I am proud of the fact that we had the guts enough to start businesses and to try to do something for ourselves as young men in our late teens and early 20s, not really understanding what the world has to give, but understanding that we need to provide for ourselves, but we need to own what we create. We need to own stuff. We need to be in positions of ownership so we can produce. We understood. We at least understood we need to own. We didn't understand the full thing, but we just understood that we need to own because we were influenced by your Master P's. We're not gonna lie. We're as far as that entrepreneurial mindset of owning your stuff. It's influenced by the Master P's. It was influenced by the Baby and the Slim for Cash Money. We're influenced by Jay Prince. As far as the business side, not like trying to live our lives like them, but to see black men be, and like even Puff Daddy and Suge Knight and stuff like that. Like I say, not looking at them as we want to be like them as men, the character and values. No. But to see black men in ownership positions, owning their lanes as much as possible, that was very influential. And still to this day, I still have the mindset of I need to be in control. I need to be the owner. I need to be the person who's over this. I don't want to work for nobody. Now, even though now I understand you got to do what you got to do in order to do what you want to do. But hey, trust me, The working for myself aspect is on the brink. It's on the brink. All right, so bam, graduate. Back to the Leon County Health Department. So start working for the Leon County Health Department in HIV/AIDS prevention and sexual violence prevention. Now, I have no, and I repeat, I have no idea what I'm getting myself into. At this point, the only thing I know about HIV/AIDS is a lot of black people got HIV/AIDS, and you can get it through sexual contact. At the point, that's all I knew. And all I knew about domestic violence was hearing that men put their hands on women made me mad. That's all I knew. So going into this, I'm talking about straight greenhorn. Straight green. Not knowing too much about none of this. So shout out to the homie Sam Carter, and rest in peace, Mr. Leroy Jackson. So two black men, and that's what's the best part about this journey that I'm telling you all, is the influence of positive black men. Positive black men have influenced my whole life. Shout out to my pops. Shout out to my daddy, Wallace Ward. But I've been fortunate enough to have positive black men influence me my whole life. Now, have I had black men with negative influences? Oh yes. But I've had, if I give a percentage, I'll say 70% positive, 30% negative. But I don't have respect for the negative. I have the utmost respect for the positive, right? So Sam Carter, Leroy Jackson, they took me under their wing and they taught me how to be a professional. Taught me different aspects of manhood that I needed to learn outside of my father. My father set the foundation, and his teachings still reign supreme today. Me and my pops just talked the other day. We were just texting the other day and stuff like that, right? I can still hit my pops up. And like one thing that is cool about my pops is I didn't like it when I was younger, but now my pops will make you be on your stuff, right? So, and I was telling him the other day, I don't tell my dad stuff until I got it together, right? If I don't have it together, I'm not telling him about it, because he gonna ask questions. He gonna ask a lot of questions, and if you ain't got the answers, he gonna ask more questions, wonder why you ain't got the answers. So what I learned is to measure 10 times, cut once. And the cut once is talking to my pops. So like I said, the foundation, my pops got me into the habit of making sure I got my stuff together, right? So I got that foundation, and then Sam Carter and Leroy Jackson helped to build upon that, helped shape and mold me over the years. So I am going into black communities. And I know some of y'all might be wondering what this got to do with On the Shoulders of Giants. It's all a part of the story. It's all a part of the story. It's all a part of the story. Because if it wasn't for my time at the Leon County Health Department, On the Shoulders of Giants may not exist. So, working at the health department, learning everything about HIV/AIDS, I can learn, because when I realized, because I know most people growing up, most people with HIV were black. They say it was the LGBT community and black people. So learning specifically about HIV/AIDS, what it is and how it affects people and why it affected certain people, the different types of intercourse that people have to be more susceptible to contracting HIV/AIDS than others, right? So I'm gonna just say it like that for the algorithm. Also, coupled with that is doing sexual violence prevention, right? So learning to help stop violence against women, sexual violence and domestic violence against women. Learning what it was deeper than when I heard about it, it made me mad. Understanding the psychology behind it. And a lot of people ask me, because my degree I graduated from Florida A&M University with a degree in psychology. Well, I would say a degree in Black psychology and a minor in African American studies. FAMU's psychology department is African centered. So I learned about Black history and Black psychology as well as psychology overall. So I have like a dual, triple type of degree and dual, triple type of way of thinking because I was exposed to information from a specific angle and a specific viewpoint, especially from people who are considered master teachers and sat at the feet of these master teachers that we revere, right? So I'm able to use my psychology information that I learned in doing HIV/AIDS prevention and sexual violence prevention, seeing how these two aspects affect my community. So one of the requirements of my position, because I've always been a person who did a lot of outreach. So I'm known for doing HIV testing. I'm known for doing HIV trainings. I'm known for coming to your classroom, your house, your family reunion, your after school program and doing a class. I'm known for giving information. I'm known for showing up and testing. I'm known for getting people right on track. I'm known as a resource in the HIV and sexual violence prevention world. And that's because Sam Carter and Mr. Leroy Jackson taught me how to turn myself into a resource. Be resourceful. Go get skills. Coming into the health department, I had a limited amount of skills. When I left the health department, I had skill sets I didn't even know I could get. I know things, and I have certificated things you guys wouldn't even believe. I got a green belt in Lean Six Sigma, right? So resources and stuff. So anywho, like I said, part of this job was to go out into the community and educate. I'm a health educator. I've taught in elementary school, K through 12. I've taught K through 12. Let me say that again. I did K through 12. So I went into elementary school. I've been middle schools. I've been high schools. I've been colleges. I've been retirement homes. I've been grad school. I've been juvenile programs. I've been in prisons. I've been in cafeterias. I've been in hallways. I've been in clubhouses. You name it. You name an age group. You name a demographic. I've taught there. I have 13 years of experience educating people, teaching information. 13 solid years. You name the environment and you put me in the environment, I will shine. Put me in, hey, I know my information to the point where I've been in environments of time where the power go out or that we just don't have no power because, hey man, we in the woods, we in the country, we in the deep country of Gaston County, we have no power. Guess what? Bam, rattle it all off because I know my stuff because Mr. Leroy and Sam, they got me right. Every Friday, Mr. Leroy focused on continuing education every Friday. So when we came in every Friday, we already knew we was going to spend the first half of the day, the first 4 hours of the day learning something new. So it got to a point to where my job was to set up the training. So bam, we was learning. So this one particular day, this is how On the Shoulders of Giants got started, right? Backstory. So bam, this one particular day, I'm going to this particular school, and I've been giving classes at this particular school for maybe like a year now. I've developed a great relationship with a particular teacher who class that I go in and the principal of the school. Me and the principal still cool to this day. And me and the teacher, we still cool to this day. Matter of fact, me and some of the young ladies at the school, we still cool to this day. I be so, and they'll tell you when I see them, I be so excited when I see these young ladies who've taken full advantage of the opportunities given to them and made something out of themselves. Shout out to all you young ladies who came from that particular school. I want to say the name of the school, but shout out to all the young ladies. Because even when I'm out doing community service, like and doing my work in the community, I bump into some of them now, and they already know, man. Hey, whatever you need me to help you with to help advance, you let me know, because I'm so happy and excited and proud to see these young ladies making something out of themselves, right? So, but I'm at this school this particular day, And I'm known for doing icebreaker activities. And the particular icebreaker activity that I had was on one side, like it's a card, like the index cards. So I write the name of the individual on one side of the card, as well as attributes of this person. And they have to give the attributes of the particular person without giving the name or like giving easy clues so they can guess who the person is. So we get to like, I think it's like the first, it might be the first period, first or second period. And on one side of the card, and y'all might have heard me give the story before, but on one side of the card, I'm still mad about this to this day. On one side of the card, it says the name is Harriet Tubman. Harriet Tubman. So I'm like, I think nothing of it. I never thought I would run into a black person who would ever tell me that they had no idea who Harriet Tubman was. Yep, I did though. I ran into a whole bunch of them. I ran into a generation of young black girls who had no idea who Harriet Tubman was. I was like, what? What you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean you have no idea who Harriet Tubman was? And so it was funny because the little girl raised her hand. Mr. Joseph, come over here. Who is this lady? I'm like, you playing right now? Who is this lady? But going through 7 periods of the day. And I really realized that these young girls had no idea who Harriet Tubman was. And if you know anything about me, you know how I feel about Harriet Tubman. Harriet Tubman has a special place in my heart. Special place in my heart, Harriet Tubman has, right? What do you mean you don't know who Harriet Tubman is? What does that mean? What do you mean? And so I had to do something. So I was mad. And so when I went home, I'm talking to my man, Keith Turner. And Keith is like, man, what you gonna do? Well, before we get to that part, I'm telling Keith that none of these girls knew who Harriet Tubman was. And he was like, man, what you gonna do about it? And then we talking. He was like, well, hey, you're a historian. I mean, you know a lot of black history because, I mean, everybody who knows me know that I'm really about this black history stuff as far as studying it and knowing it and learning it because I've been doing it for fun for a long time. I literally would just sit down and just read black history. Like I have a library because I've always wanted in my house a library. My nose is too big. I've always wanted a library in my house full of books by black authors and black history and black information. So we talking and Keith like, well, you have a lot of knowledge and history of African history, black history. Why don't you create a blog? Because at the time, the idea was the blog. Because I wasn't really thinking about YouTube because YouTube was just something I watched videos on at the time, but not even really like that. So start a blog. So I had a company at the time called Live Skilled, Live Fulfilled. So if you ever see videos on this channel, on my channel, and you see the Live Skilled, Live Fulfilled name and logo, that's one of the businesses that I had, right? So Live Skilled, Live Fulfilled was the overall thing. And On the Shoulders of Giants was a blog within the Live Skilled, Live Fulfilled platform where I would find the stories of our unsung heroes and tell those stories, tell that information like I still do on this channel, like my videos every Wednesday. Make sure you check out my videos every Wednesday where I give information of one of our unsung heroes of the African diaspora. That's the basis of On the Shoulders of Giants. It's created. We are here. I am here because I got pissed that young girls had no idea who Harriet Tubman was. I got pissed. And I wanted to do something about it. And that was around 2012. And it's 2023 now. And I'm still here. and I'm still doing it. I'm still here and I'm still doing it in 2023. That started in 2012. I love what I do. I love this platform. I love On the Shoulders of Giants. I love the opportunities that it has afforded me. But most of all, finding this information and giving this information. You'll be surprised how much information I've learned over these last 10, 11 years doing On the Shoulders of Giants. I've learned so much, but the greatest part is how many people that I was able to like impact. Like that's the thing. Like how many people I'm able to impact through On the Shoulders of Giants. That's the one of the greatest parts about it with me is I'm really able to I'm able to put people onto information and put people onto Black people throughout history and throughout the world that we had no idea existed. We had no idea that these people existed. And that's the cool thing about it, is being able to explore this information. But as we learn this information, our mind expands. As we learn this information, we start to feel better about ourselves. As we learn this information, we start to grow. Like, I love being Black. That's what On the Shoulders of Giants has done for me. So I hope it has done wonders for you all. I hope it has. That's the goal. And it's done wonders. But being able to get to this point. So now, 2012, 2013, this is where the journey starts. I guess this is part of the story. This is where the journey really starts. All right. I'm in my 20s. I'm ambitious. I got all this Black history knowledge. My man Keith Turner. Me and Keith, we doing our thing. Keith is helping me. Shout out to Carl Tone Jones. I appreciate you, man. Shout out to my brother Carl Tone Jones, man. Y'all make sure y'all check out the brother, support the brother. He's part of the Breakdown Friday crew. So shout out to Carl Tone Jones. But Keith, and shout out to Keith Turner too. Keith has a wealth of knowledge. Keith was, when I was 8 years old, Keith was our drill team instructor. And the drill team was a military style team where we did marching and drills and stuff, and about phase and all that. We did all of that. But I thank Keith for that, because we was in the hood, man. Like, if you know anything about Tallahassee in the late 80s, early 90s, and you know anything about Holton Street, Walker Ford, and that Bond community, you already know we was in the hood, like bang bang. Put two like this. Still to this day, I realize that, like, growing up in the hood has desensitized us to violence so much that when I hear gunshots, it's just so routine. So we grew up in the hood, but being a part of that drill team allowed us to see different things, and it took us out of the hood, and it diminished the opportunities that we had to get into trouble. It diminished the opportunities that we had to maybe join groups of kids who was thugging it and selling drugs and stuff. It diminished those opportunities. So also, in addition to the drill team, football was my thing growing up. Like, football was life growing up. So I thank my parents, my OGs, and football for keeping me out of trouble when I was a young kid. But so that's Keith Turner, right? So Keith has a lot of knowledge in history and technology and stuff. So he's helping me with my blog. And then I decided to start a YouTube channel in like 2013. And remind you, the only thing I know about YouTube at this time is them twerk team videos that came out like 2007, 2008. That song is so cold in the like a dot dot dee, sucker like a dot dot dot, whatever. But I know YouTube from the funny skits and the funny stuff, right? So I'm not even right conceiving YouTube as the platform that it is. So in the beginning, like, so the very first video I ever put on this platform was a video about Melvin Tosin. Now I just recently redid that video because a lot of the videos that I did when I first started, I'm going back and I'm refining. I'm doing those videos over because I can do a better job of them, like total quality and stuff like that. And so I am doing those videos over. But the Melvin Tosin video was the very first video that I put on here. And I learned about Melvin Tosin from Keith Turner. Because Keith was big because he likes writers, so he was big on Langston Hughes and some others. But he was like, hey man, do you know about Melvin Tosin? And I was like, no. And so that's when I first learned about his run with the Wiley College debate team. Like, I didn't learn that from the Great Debaters, because by the time the Great Debaters came out, I had already done my Melvin Tosin video on my channel. So now, quality of that video, horrible. The quality of my Melvin Tosin video was horrible. The quality of a lot of the videos in the beginning was horrible, but the information and the passion, it was there. The will was there. So me not really understanding YouTube, I was just putting videos up because I wanted people to see Black history. I want young Black people, but Black people, period. I want Black people to have access to Black history information. Something you don't have to go search for real hard to find, because I already know if it's hard for folks to find, they ain't gonna find it. So I wanted Black history information to be readily available at people's fingertips, taking advantage of these mobile phones and all these apps that's on the phone. So taking advantage of all of that, right? So I was just putting videos on YouTube, just hoping people find it, to be honest, because I had no idea how YouTube worked. All I know is you put videos up on YouTube, and there was some videos that got a whole bunch of views, and there was some videos like mine that didn't have no views. And then I remember, I guess one of the things that made me start really looking more into YouTube and learning more about YouTube and trying to take it more serious is when Eric Thomas, E.T. the hip hop preacher, when he came out. And because I ain't gonna lie, in the beginning of this YouTube thing, I'm talking about like for the first 3-4 years, it might have took me 4-5 years to get 200 subscribers on YouTube, to be real. It might have took me 4 or 5 years to get 200 subscribers. And so I remember watching Eric Thomas's YouTube channel when he had 200 subscribers, and I was like, damn, he balling. Straight up. I thought Eric Thomas was balling with 200 subscribers because I had like 10, maybe. And so I was like, Eric Thomas, he balling. And those Motivational Mondays, I know I might be saying the Thank God It's Monday videos. I used to watch those every Monday, and those videos, I ain't gonna lie, the motivation used to help me. Motivation used to help me keep going, because I'm like, all right, it's been like 3 years on YouTube, and I think my videos are good. I'm finding a lot of good information. I'm presenting it in a good fashion. The instrumental behind it is busting. I'm getting 3 views. I was discouraged a lot. Over the years because I wasn't getting no views. Now, looking back, that's because I didn't understand the game. I ain't understand the YouTube game like that, right? But it's all good. I understand it now. But all this monetization from YouTube and all this other stuff, plaques and getting these views out and going, man, I ain't know nothing about that. I just want, my main thing was to use YouTube to get these videos out so more people can learn about me, and they can bring me out to be able to give information. They can bring me to their schools. I can be a speaker, I can be an educator, all that, using my speaking and education skills that I've developed over the years, and I'm still doing that, right? It's part of the plan, and that's what I'm doing now too, in addition. But Just didn't know. I just did not know. And over time, when I started learning how to really leverage social media, period, how to leverage Facebook, how to leverage Instagram, how to leverage YouTube, now how to leverage TikTok, how to use these platforms to help get the information out. But to understand these platforms, I didn't start getting, I was monetized maybe 4 or 5 years before I earned a penny. I want to say at least 4 years. I was monetized at least 4 years before I earned a penny from YouTube. And so we talking about getting money from YouTube. We talking about within the last 2 years, right? So one of the main things about this story, though, about me getting where I am now is perseverance. Like, I think a lot of people would have quit YouTube a long time ago if their journey was like mine. I do know why I didn't quit, and I'm about to tell you in a minute. But I don't think a lot of people would have continued with their YouTube channel the way I did. It's been 3 years and I'm averaging 10 views a video. Now, over time, those videos have definitely accumulated more views. But the mindset you have to have, and one of the things, like I said, using Eric Thomas's videos on Monday, but also I heard the story about Colonel Sanders, and I heard that Colonel Sanders was turned down 1,010 times. He got 1,010 no's on the 1,011th attempt. He got a yes. And so it's just me how I think. I like, okay, as a young, strong black man with a beautiful history and a beautiful heritage and lineage, ain't no way Colonel Sanders realer than me. Ain't no way that old white man, no disrespect to Colonel Sanders, maybe disrespect depending on his history. I don't even know if he was real. I really don't even care to look into the history. But I just know what I learned about that the man had 1,010 no's and kept going. Ain't no way in hell Colonel Sanders realer than me. Ain't no way in hell I'm gonna give up on myself, and ain't no way in hell I'm gonna give up on my goals and my dreams. I'm a very persistent person. I'm a person that has stick-to-itiveness. If it's something that I want, I'm gonna work to get it, no matter how long it takes. Also, another thing that really helped me is listening to motivational videos from Les Brown. In particular, the speech about the Chinese bamboo tree. Because it takes like you said, it takes the Chinese bamboo tree. When you plant the Chinese bamboo tree seed, it's in the ground, and it takes it about 5 years for the Chinese bamboo seed to bud through the ground. And so literally for 5 years, you're watering the ground, you're tending to it, and you're seeing nothing. You're not seeing any results. Now, in this process, if you go 1 day without watering the ground, it's gonna mess the process up, and the Chinese bamboo not gonna grow. But if you water it every day, after 5 years, after that 5-year period, once the Chinese bamboo breaks through the ground, it grows 5 feet in 6 months. And then he followed that up with, now the question is, did the bamboo grow? Did the bamboo fully grow 5 feet in 6 months? Or was that over that 5-year period? And once it budded through the ground, it got the chance to show what it did. And I applied that to what I'm doing and my journey, because for so long, I went with not seeing any fruits from my labor. I just want people to see the information. I just want people to interact with the information. I just want people to be able to learn from the information. And whatever comes from it, it comes from it. I'll take it. But that's the thing though about On the Shoulders of Giants is I put a lot of work and a lot of time into this platform. My website, www.ontheshoulders1.com. I actually have an app. I keep forgetting to talk about my app. If you have an Android phone, I actually have an app. You can actually go to my website and download my app. And on my app I load up information and quizzes and stuff about the people that I post about. I do need to update that. But it's also a nonprofit sector to On the Shoulders of Giants, and I'm almost in position to get that started and running. But this whole thing, the whole journey and the whole story about On the Shoulders of Giants and everything is, it started with me being angry that adults have failed children and not properly teaching them Black history. And then I realized that we didn't really learn a lot about Black history in school. Now, I learned a lot more than others because I'm a history junkie. But I wanted to create something, like I said, something that was tangible, something viable, something that with great content and easy to access. So no other children would have to go without learning about our heroes of our past. Stop worrying about what white people are or aren't doing for us. Stop complaining about they don't want to teach our history in our schools. They ain't never teach us our history. They never want to teach us our history. How could white people don't never? You know they don't want to teach our history. Y'all know they don't want us to learn our history. Y'all sound like slaves. You know they don't teach you no history down there at them schools now. Sound like slaves. We're in a day and time to where if you're not learning anything, especially about your history, it's your fault. And as an adult, there's no excuse. You should never be an adult and have access to children and talk about what other adults didn't teach the children that you have access to, especially if they're your children. Black history starts at home. Black history starts at home. If you don't have the wherewithal to learn the history and teach the history in your home, stop complaining about what others aren't doing. Other people don't have to care about us and our children. It's not in their best interest to care about us and our children. Us liking who we are and feeling good about ourselves and being productive, we're competition to them. They don't care about us. They only care about themselves. So guess what? It's on us to teach our children our history, and you got to stop complaining about other people and their school systems that they set up for their children to prosper, that we keep putting our children in and complaining. If you're not gonna do nothing about it, button your lips. But Black history starts at home. Black history starts in our communities. Hey, if you don't know it, learn it. Go to ontheshoulders1.com. Go to ontheshoulders1.com or go to YouTube, youtube.com/ontheshoulders1. Type in On the Shoulders of Giants on YouTube. Come to my platform and just expose the kids to the information. Let me teach them. Expose the kids. Or, and you can go to the website, you can learn the information and tell the stories. That's the great thing about the information that we have. All you got to do is look it up, read it, and give it to your kids, and you learn it as well. There's no excuses. There's no excuses left under the sun for why we don't know our history and our information. I spent it's 2020, it's 2023. I spent the last 10 years. Damn. I never thought about it. I just realized I spent the last 10 years building up On the Shoulders of Giants to where it is now. 10 years. You'd be surprised the amount of information I've learned in 10 years just by giving a damn and actually taking the steps to search for the information. 10 years. And I think I have enough information on my YouTube channel, my website, for you to learn about a new black person every day of the week for a year. Well, probably for the next year and a half, 2 years. I believe I have enough information for you to learn about a new person, a new black person from around the world for at least every day for the next year and a half. Whole lot of information that you can access for free. What you waiting on? So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So now with the YouTube channel, it has evolved over the years. So over the last 2 years, it has evolved. So in addition to my Wednesday videos where I do my features, my profiles of our unsung heroes, Mondays I am now reading books. Reading books from our authors, scholars, master teachers, our leaders, the books that give us the good information that we need. And on Fridays, I link up with the good brother Carl Tone Jones and the good brother Patrick Irvin, and we do Breakdown Friday. And make sure all my patrons, make sure y'all catch tomorrow's Breakdown Friday video, because we are breaking down Professor Carl Tone Jones's his landmark documentary, The Independence Day Project, and we're tackling the subject is of what is Black independence, and is Black independence something that's still realistic, right? And so, and I'm going to get back to doing I want to get back to doing live interviews or just interviews. So I'm going to be reaching out to more people, scholars, leaders, lecturers, and to do more interviews. But I want to do a lot more Patreon exclusive content for all my patrons. I love you all, and I'm going to be fixing up some stuff I learned. I got some new things, so some of the videos I took down because I'm going to put them back up in a different fashion to make the Patreon page look a whole lot better. I want it to be aesthetically pleasing, but I want to make sure that I'm giving you guys some content. So a couple days out of the month, Patreon exclusive content for my family. Patreon exclusive content for my family, because I love y'all. Also, so I want to tell this to my Patreon family. And if you want to become a part of the Patreon family, hey, patreon.com/OTSOG, you can become a patron for as little as $1 a month, right? So I'm currently working on a mini docu series where I'm learning the Black history of my city, Tallahassee, Florida. So Tallahassee, Florida has a rich history. It has rich Black history. It has a lot of Black history that's tied into the civil rights movement, and of course with HBCUs and Florida A&M University. So a lot of stuff happened in Tallahassee, especially with the Chitlin Circuit and civil rights movement, black arts, Black music. It's just a lot happened in Tallahassee. So I am capturing as much Black history in Tallahassee as possible, and I'm probably in the middle of it now of actually filming all my content. So just want to let you all know, coming soon, coming in the future, I'm going to be releasing at least trailers and things from my docu-series about Tallahassee. So the object is to start off in Tallahassee, but to go to as many cities as I can throughout the country and document the Black history of these cities. I want to know more about the local Black history of the cities that we live in. And I think we should know as well. So that's coming soon too. So before I close this out, I want to give a shout out to all of my patrons. Let me, here we go. I'm going to give a shout out to all my patrons. So Professor Carl Tone Jones, shout out to you, my brother. Charles, I appreciate you. You and Corey, I hope y'all doing good in PA. F. Dot, I appreciate you. The homie Sagawa, You already know what it is. The guy, well, I appreciate you, my brother. Olusegun Williams, Baba Olusegun. I really, we got to get up. We have to get back up. We got to do another live. We got to do a Patreon exclusive, Baba Olusegun. We got to get back up. But I appreciate you for all of the support and all the guidance, all of the wisdom that you have given us in our Tallahassee community throughout the years. So thank you. Gregory Hills, you the man. Shalina Paredes, I love you. Thank you. Eclipse 320, I appreciate you. Samuel S.D. Hannah, I appreciate you. Melanie R. Scott, Jermaine Sims, Shaheed Douglas, Jerome Bigby, Dr. Shonda Reynolds, Terrell Cornett, and Coco. I love all of you. Coco, I love all of you. I appreciate the support. It is much appreciated. You guys don't have to do this stuff that you're doing, but you're doing it for me. You're supporting this platform. Thank you. The overall goal is to generate $2,000 a month from Patreon to be able to put back into my community, have resources for my community. Like my man Sam Carter said, we don't need no more broke mentors. No more broke mentors. So I need you guys' help and to get more patrons as well. $2,000 a month from Patreon is the goal, so I can put that back into my community, into the Black communities that I serve. $2,000 a month from Patreon. We're working on our goal. We are working on our goal. So let's get to it. But I want to give y'all some exclusive content, some behind the scenes things, some information about Joseph Ward that a lot of people don't get. I don't often get a chance to tell my story, but when I do, I tell it, and I like to tell it with flair. So all of you are special to me. I appreciate you. And this Patreon exclusive content is going to keep coming. It's going to keep coming. So I appreciate everybody who tuned in. And if you couldn't catch this live, make sure you catch it. Patreon exclusive content. Joseph Ward, www.ontheshoulders1.com. This is On the Shoulders of Giants. Love you all. I'll see y'all next time. Peace out.